I hear a lot of the same characteristics as I talk to different individuals about their exemplars. I hear a lot of very similar there's a connecting of the dots, right? You said funny, charismatic, caring, strong family values, right? And there's a lot of that that's missing in today's society, right? There's not a lot of people who live that way. And so one of the things that I'm curious about and I write about often is that a lost skill set or is it something that can be developed? Is it something that can be cultivated within? Like, hey, I wasn't I might not have had a papa in my life, but can I learn to live this way and then maybe pass that on to the next generation? Right? Is it something that can be cultivated? And if so, how? Without the missing piece of the exemplar, the person that kind of passes the torch to us.
That I think that's a good question. I don't know. When I think about Papaw's life, here's someone who as a child was out working to support his family and he did it. And we're talking about somebody who went to World War II. And then when he came home, he took the money that he got paid and he built his family a house. Um, when segregation came along, my papa was not in line with the folks around him. My papa, he lived in Canton and he had black friends and he went and drank with them and played cards and you know, kids that my daddy and aunt went to school with bullied them because my papa was so anti-segregation. And, he when he got in that truck wreck back in the 70s before I was born, they had to use the jaws of life to pull him out. And he's lucky he didn't die. And then they told him he wasn't gonna walk ever again. And he was like, "You watch me." And he did. He had one leg that was literally shorter than the other, and my papa could run circles around other people. Not only that, he could clog. He danced beautifully. He taught me to dance. And I just don't know. I don't know if that's something that life experience teaches us or if he had an exemplar in his own life that he learned these from. So that he had this kind of determination and this kind of good character. Like he just had a good moral character. And I'm not saying that was, it's not like he wasn't doing bad things. It's just he treated other people the way they deserved to be treated. And so I feel like that I feel like that probably comes from both nature and nurture. It's something that we see, but it's also something that we learn as we grow old.
In that era, that character that you speak of was highly valued as well, right? Around the community, we had a tight knit community, and people were very aware of who in town carried themselves in that manner and who to stay away from. But he also had a large bit of compassion. And I don't know if it was natural born compassion or if it was something that, like you mentioned, life experiences and things that he might have gone through in the war and that sort of thing. But he carried himself with that like high level of compassion.
Yeah. And that's something that he had until the day he died. I remember, so he was diagnosed with colon cancer, or I believe it was colon cancer. And I was home when this happened. And my mama was losing her mind. And my daddy was down at his house and he was upset. And so I'll walk up to the house and Papa's sitting on the back porch. This is something that me and him have done 100 million times. And I sit down beside him and he'd been crying. And it was so weird to me. I'd only seen my Papa cry one other time before. And I reached out and I took his hand and we just sat there for a few minutes. And finally he looked over at me and he called me Booger. He said, "Booger, did I make you happy?" And that was it just blew my mind. Like, it still shocks me to this day that he just found out that he probably wasn't gonna live very much longer. And his thought wasn't fear, it was, "Did he make me happy?" And to this day, if I could go back and give him just this gushing, wonderful speech, I would do it, but I was upset, and of course, I told him yes, but that didn't cover it, that wasn't enough. He did so much more than made me happy.